What's up, guys? So this is rather new to me, and this is something I have not done yet, so if the audio sucks or if the video quality sucks, I wouldn't be surprised, but I want to try this. So I'm doing a screen recording on this YouTube video that I was told about. It's from the Rockford, Illinois. I guess they have like a World War II weekend out there, and I've heard of the event before. I don't know too much about it, but I've been hearing about this video. It's a medical aid kind of scenario. Um, American forces come into this little town and do the generic fight off the Germans. They boom boom kill everybody, and then they do a big medical kind of display for the public. So this might be a long video, so bear with me. I'm going to skip through different parts of the YouTube video to kind of, I guess, look at some key points here. But we'll start off with just the action part of it and leading into it. Again, I'm not going into this video to try to like hate on other people, but I think my personal goal of this video is to point out discrepancies, point out things that we do wrong and we can definitely improve on, and do a little comparison to what I've read about, what I've seen in original photos, and what things could have been like in the time versus kind of the glorified dog and pony show that we do for the public. This is kind of why I've strayed away from doing the bang bang shoot 'em up dog and pony shows in front of the public, because unfortunately, you know, my own personal opinion is the fact that the public sees us doing what we're doing, and then they leave there with the thought of, oh wow, that's what it was like, when in reality we don't even get close to what it could be like. That's why I stray away from those kind of big events now, and I like to do, you know, living histories, show and tells, you know, do a setup, get the equipment in front of people, personally talk to people, you know, about experiences, about the history behind the equipment and the people, and share stories like that. I think that the general public can learn a greater sense of the history that we're trying to put out there in front of them than the big shoot 'em up events. I know they're never going to stop, and you know, I know the public doesn't get a full sense of what it was like from seeing them, but sometimes they do get a false sense of what we're trying to portray. So enough of me talking for now. We're just going to roll into this. I'm going to talk kind of through it. I might stop it and pause it and point out things, and I'm probably going to be skipping a lot because it's a long video. It's like a half-hour long, but I'm definitely not going to be doing a half-hour video. So we'll get started. Looks like these guys are going to take some fortified cover behind some flimsy crates. So we'll get going and see what they do here. Alright, well, luckily the battle's unfolding in front of an aid station, so that minimizes time getting into care. Looks like they're securing the area from whatever battle just ensued, and now they have to tend to the casualties. Let's skip ahead a little bit here. Oh, the MPs are here. Yep, party's ruined. Party's over. So I love how the Jeeps are bringing wounded in. Alright, so my best assumption is that this is a detachment coming in. I don't know. They're all on vehicles. They got one ambulance. It might be a detachment scenario. I'm highly confused. I'm highly confused as to why there's a British para here. I do not know. Has the armband, but he's like a lone ranger in all the allies. I mean, I would understand this more if it was like a joint operations kind of thing. You know, there's more of them, but I'm having trouble understanding the lone British para that is in the middle of everything. Alright. Dunkin' Donuts is closed, so he's looking around. So, okay. Here's the biggest thing. I heard the announcer, I don't know if the audio picked it up or not, but the announcer said they're trying to get nurses and doctors and stuff like that started on the casualty and stuff like this. And it kind of goes back to my last video. At the detachment level, in the field, on the front line, we did not have nurses. And it's something that we always get wrong, and it's always done anyways, but there was no nurses on the front lines. Back at field hospitals, sure. Sanitary trains, transportation trains, hospital ships, air medevacs, you know, flight nurses and stuff like that. At those levels of care, great, yes, awesome. They were there for sure. I know that. But frontline in a combat situation such as this is presenting, 100% no. Let's keep going. So, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's representing a medical officer of some sort. I would have to assume so. They've been working on this guy since they got in. He came in on the truck when they arrived. Luckily, there's an aid station right here, apparently. I don't know why they're not taking people over there. There seems to be a lot of mass confusion, too. A lot of people are kind of running around and not knowing what's going on or what to do. In a real life situation, I'm not discounting that there wouldn't be chaos and confusion, but there'd be a pretty good general sense um, as to what your job was and what you needed to get done and how you needed to get it done. But there just seems like there's a lot of guys just running around and pointing and looking at each other and then running back to wherever they were and then running right back and doing the same thing again. I guess it's part of the show. So here's the thing with the MPs. My general understanding is that they're not going to be so involved in patient care. And I'm going to stop the video right here. The MPs are not going to be so directly involved in patient care like they kind of are being shown here in parts. Your MPs and your other infantry is going to be worried about pressing the mission forward, continuing on, securing a perimeter, securing what's going on. They're not going to be so directly involved in patient care and that kind of stuff. And also another thing I wanted to point out that I seen that was just happening in this frame here is looks like this gentleman right here is performing chest compressions or artificial respirations on the guy that's on the ground, and he's doing it the conventional modern way, where actually it's a small detail, maybe not a lot of people know, but in the medical manuals from the 40s, especially in the War Department, artificial respirations were done with the person on their stomach, so you're actually pumping on their back. That's one small detail that not a lot of people either know about or realize. But yeah, if you're doing quote-unquote CPR on somebody in the 40s, you actually have that person turned over onto their stomach and you're doing it on their back. Keep going. So British Pair is just hanging out still, apparently. Unfortunately, they don't have that German aidman doing anything. Whereas realistically, he would be employed with the rest of the Allied aidmen and medical personnel to help to assist with casualty, treatment and stuff like that. I see he ditched his the guy over there working on those guys. If it cuts back, this guy, yeah, he ditched his white apron that he spent so much time trying to get on. You got a good mix of some medical helmet insignia, and some guys don't. That's cool. Yeah, I guess with the collar brass, I see he's a medical officer of some sort. However, um, minor details nitpicking. He's wearing 2 bags. Medical officers were only designated to be carrying 1 bag. Um, whatever. Minor details. I'm not saying it. Medical officers never carry 2 bags, but the norm by the book was supposed to be only 1 bag. You got some civilians involved, which I don't know is maybe exactly appropriate. Um, but yeah. And the one thing I heard in the beginning of the video, well, not beginning, but from where we started it, was somebody was calling for a surgeon, and all this other stuff. It's like, realistically, your battalion surgeons aren't going to be there with you. They're going to be busy setting up the aid station, and that kind of stuff. So your battalion surgeon is like your commanding officer. Well, I wouldn't say commanding officer, but he's in charge of that battalion section, and he's in charge of making sure things get set up and stuff like that for the aid station and stuff. So your battalion sergeant is just, necessarily not going to be on the front lines there with you. You got some stretcher runners. You got guys moving all over the place. MPs are still nosy and getting in everybody's business. They don't belong. But the aid station's over here. Don't know why nobody's going over there. Now comes the time where everybody's bored and they don't know what to do, so they're just going to get up, start walking around and looking at stuff and just. 45th Division. I don't know how much longer this video is still pretty long. So it looks like they ended up getting overran at some point. Hey guys, still getting worked on. I'm going to give him the award for being the longest worked patient in a scenario ever. And it looks like for what, a broken leg. British Pair still there, in the way. I'm still confused as to what he's doing there. Yeah, generally you wouldn't. I don't know. From the original photos that I've seen and stuff like that, like you generally wouldn't have so many infantry guys involved in patient care. I mean, there's so many Red Crosses walking around. The infantry detachments, the medical detachment with the infantry is going to come in and take over the operation. They're going to do their thing. So there's, unless you're really short-handed and need the help, yeah, infantrymen would stand in and help out, do whatever they could. But I mean, there's so many Red Crosses bouncing around in this video. The infantry is really not needed, but not going to bang them for that. That is what it is. I'm not saying it never happened, but just unlikely in some situations. And that guy's still getting worked on in the back of the truck. Jeez. Let's see what happens down here. The ram. It's interesting. I feel like there's going to be just a whole bunch of standing around now. Am I right? Yep. Just a bunch of standing around. So, I mean, I guess this video is, I'm gonna stop it there. I guess this video is, you know, a half decent representation of, alright, you know, force moves in, they overtake an opposing force, and then you have to deal with the casualties. The medical department arrives and they do their thing, and then there's a counterattack, and that position is taken by an opposing force, and then you have to fight against the, or show the fight against the Geneva Convention markings and show how it all plays in and stuff like that, which I get, but there's just a lot of details that are just missed and done wrong, and yeah. But again, not trying to knock people, but I think my main goal and mission is to, again, I've said it in other videos before, identify what we're doing wrong, what we can do better, what we can improve on. So interesting video. If you want to go back, and look up the full feature, that's the name of the video on YouTube. It's a long video if you want to watch it all the way through in detail. But I just want to hit some of the major parts and just kind of do like a my thought reaction to the video. This whole knee thing is like a common virus in the reenactment community. Like, you don't ever see POWs or whatever, you take somebody prisoner, you never see them on their knees ever in original photos. They're either standing or they're sitting, or you know what I mean, like, or they're leaning against a wall. They're not on their knees. It's like this egotistical power trip that we get as reenactors whenever we take over an opposing force, like, get on your knees. Yeah, and it's something that's one thing that we really need to work on, is just getting better at that. It's like, have them stand there or have them sit. Don't do this whole on your knees thing and all this other theatrical BS. It's just not right. So, other than that, I hope this video turned out okay. I definitely want to get a microphone set up, you know what I mean, for better audio. I'm sure it probably sucks. Comment below if you agree with this video, if you disagree, if you know people that were in it, if you think it's cool, if you don't think it's cool, if you don't like the fact that I called people out on some BS, let me know. So, have a great night.